But it will be what is happening, because this is not normal. There's no heat, and there's a flame in front of me that's raging, and just in a really weird rectangular. Was wrong about it to be a fire within a room. I've attempted to tackle this fire twice, and nothing's happening.
Was what you were confronted with at that moment something that you recognised from your experience, or not?
I have never seen anything like it before. I attacked them both. I'm having no effect. Water is just bouncing off. It is just literally bouncing off, and I'm thinking, okay, we've got a problem here. Whether the gaps or not, it's just black areas. Tried everything, nothing was happening. It's just bouncing off. But basically, I'm seeing what looks like sheets of metal, and the fire is. It's just really weird. You can see it's a light underneath, but you'd have these areas of. I imagine.
I've got nothing further for you. Can I say I'm very grateful to you for coming to the inquiry and helping us understand your evidence. Thank you.
Thank you. It sounds mad when I'm saying there's no heat. It's very hard to explain what is going on here, because this is just not normal. Woof.
Back with President Trump, who tweeted,
basically, at this point, just a slab is left here. What used to be the satellite dish for this home is on the ground. A number of fire engines out here, firefighters valiantly trying to put out the flames with their hoses. And to give you a sense of just how hot it is, take a look at this RAV4 right here. This is the covering for the spare tire, and it has basically melted. And that is how much heat is radiating. Take a look at this RAV4 right here. This is the covering for the spare tire, and it has basically melted. And that is how much heat is radiating from this house. What is going on? What is going on? And at this point, he's got to try to reposition himself. But there is just a number of water hoses being poured onto this house. At this point, you know that this house is not livable anymore. So what they're trying to do is contain the flames here, because the last thing you want to do is have them continuously jump from one house to the next. And that is exactly what has been happening right now. You know, Jeff, earlier when we were driving here, I was listening to some of your reporting. You were talking about how embers can fly sometimes a mile, sometimes a mile and a half. And Ken, if you pan up here, you can see some of the embers that are shooting into the air. And that's what makes these fires so dangerous, because when the wind goes through here, even though you've got these streams of water trying to use to douse these homes, you can see all of the embers shooting into the air. And you can see just how hard this work is, because when you look at the water that's pouring off of that house, that water is super dark. And let's back up a little bit so they can have a little bit of space. We're gonna follow one of them right now. And you can see it's just backbreaking work and they're doing it uphill. And that collapsing noise came from the house that you are seeing right now. You know, it's kind of hard to have a game plan when the conditions are so erratic. Because out here, this car alarm is going off. And you can see why, because this used to be a van, and now it is on fire. In addition to the van that's on fire, on top of that, it's a tree that's burning as well. So, game plan, I think, is just try to put out the first thing you see, Jeff. And as the wind is blowing towards me, you know what I mean? So you can hear the level of urgency from these guys, because they're trying to just hit everything that pops up in front of them. Okay, so we're gonna back up just a little bit when we hear that popping noise.
A quarter to half mile away over to this hillside and immediately turned it into that lava effect that Steve referred to. It looked like lava. And now it's moving down closer towards Olive Hill Road here. That's where I'm at. I'm just north of the 76 on Olive Hill Road, and this entire hillside keeps flaring up behind us. Now let's come back over here. Adam, can you zoom in on this hillside? You guys see where it looks like the lava that Steve Atkinson was referring to? Steve, look at that. That is the lava that it looks like lava. The entire hillside just burning. And the embers, I don't know if it's easy to see. Can you guys see? Can you guys see orange embers floating through the sky?
Yes.
They're floating through the air. Those are the embers, Kim, Steve, those are the embers they talk about can go 5 feet to up to a mile away and immediately turn it into that lava effect that Steve referred to. It looked like lava. That's where this is getting out of control. Those little demon embers can go a mile away. That starts a spot fire, and that spot fire starts another one of these things. This is getting out of control. Those little demon embers can go a mile away. That starts a spot fire, and that spot fire starts another one of these things. So, yeah, It's unbelievable being out here, and the heat, guys, it is amazing how hot it is out here.
How hot it is around that fire.
That's you guys in the studio.
And the winds blowing those embers. And why you showing us that, it's the example that we've all been describing throughout the day, that the winds with those kind of embers just keep this thing moving.
In the neighborhood, there was any.
Fire burns at thousands of degrees. Nothing in its path stood a chance. Tom. Thousands of degrees of heat. All right, Mac up. High winds, exactly what firefighters feared most, are now hitting Southern California, fueling those out-of-control wildfires.
And Tom, it's important to note that firefighters have been stretched so thin over the past couple of years that more firefighters have died from suicide than from fighting fires.